All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, my beautiful people. Thank you guys for tuning back in. As you guys can read by the title and the thumbnail, we're going to be elaborating more on the Icon album that was just released by Brent Faiyaz not too long ago. This will be like my 1 week sitting with it because technically it releases on the 13th of February, but I heard it on the 12th because of the whole midnight release in New York, which is 9 p.m. over here in California, if you guys don't know. But yeah, most of the time you can stay up, listen to the album like the night before it drops. It was a very good listen. Honestly, between the J. Cole one that I've been discussing on the album, The Fall Off, and Icon, I think I'm between like both really rap moods and really R&B moods. It's like a pendulum that keeps swinging and swinging. But I do want to say that this one's very well done. I do think that the 10 tracks that he's done on this specific one was really well done. There's certain songs such as track 1, which I wouldn't even consider like a song. It's just literally considered white noise by him and various people due to the fact that it was just like a cool transition. I actually saw the guy on Instagram post on how he worked on the whole orchestral composition, and he actually would like not FaceTime, Zoom meeting, telling him like, hey, if you could be a little more harsh on the staccato, like certain things. And I thought it was very well done. You could tell that he's gone into more like conceptual movie like themes, I want to say, ever since he's perfected like Wasteland. I feel like Wasteland felt like a movie, whether it be like those dramatic violins that were kind of like cutting in between every single track. This one's very well done, and I think the 4 seasons that he's been composing were amazing. From the last 2 that were added for the director's cut, I would say Full Moon is one of my favorites. I don't know if that would be considered part of the track. However, that was a track that I was telling you guys earlier that was a studio session between him and A$AP Rocky. A$AP Rocky heard that song and he wanted to add it for Don't Be Dumb, which is why we hear the exact same vocals, verses, hooks on that specific song and the other one. It was just because he liked it so much that he wanted to keep it. And I thought the verses, that now that I listen to it like retrospectively, hindsight 2020, if you listen to Don't Be Dumb and you listen to Stay Here for Life, that specific song with Brent inclusion, I think if you didn't have that hook and anything, it wouldn't be as amazing. And I also think A$AP Rocky like really nailed it with aiming for a different type of tone. The switch up for the beat when it comes in, I think like the chops that they do with his vocals, very well done. And I think both of them stand alone very well. It's almost like a trap soul Brent fight, like a not like that, a trap soul with Bryson Tiller, and that beat that was given to J. Cole with Deja Vu. It's like you really don't know which song you like until you listen to it. So yeah, all that to say, it was very well done. I don't want to go on more of a tangent, but yeah, some of my favorite songs off of this specific album is Wrong Faces. I think Wrong Faces is very well done, and I also think that Strangers is very well done as well. Honestly, 4 seasons was very well done, and I think the 4 tracks that I was mentioning are the 4 seasons would be Full Moon, which is Fall in Tokyo, One for You, which is Spring in New York, and then if you go to his other tracks for F the World, Fuck the World, if you listen to those 2 tracks that he added in between the 4 and the 7, it would be Fuck the World, Summer in London, and then Rehab, Winter in Paris, which is track 7. So if you play all 4 of those in order, obviously with the seasons, you would be able to get like the 4 seasons that he's trying to paint within those specific songs. And I think the inclusion of having 2 and 2 on the last album and this album were very well done. Not Wasteland, I'm talking about Fuck the World, which is 2020. This is 6 years ago, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think Brent Faiyaz blew up and got a Grammy nomination due to the fact that he was included on Crew by Goldlink. It was really well done, and I think 2016 all the way till now makes it 10 years of him doing just absolute great work. I think from the 2010s to the 2020s, there were only 2 real big prominent names when it comes to R&B or soul or whatever you want to call it, which would just be, I would say, Frank Ocean, and I would say The Weeknd. Nowadays, you see more so the inclusion of other artists, and I think one of those that has came up in prominence, whether it be the late 2010s or mid 2010s to the late 2010s up until now in the mid 2020s, I would say is Brent Faiyaz. Brent Faiyaz has been delivering great bodies of work, and I also think the inclusion of him being a curator for certain visions of artistic things, whether it be Tommy Richmond or himself. I think it's very good, and I also like the independence that he's garnered. ISO Supremacy is his own label, and he's partnered with specific people in order to fulfill the needs that a commercial artist would need. So, as you guys know, labels own a lot of the music that you know, a lot of the artists, but if you're able to pivot and be yourself and do what you like, I think artists and albums such as this one are great. I think he did very, very well for it being an artistic direction and it being a concise track list. 40 minutes is not a very long runtime, and yeah, it was very well done. I think I don't know what to expect for the next album, but I do want to say that this one was kind of left field for me. He did a lot of like not weekend renditions, but he's trying to do like his idea of like a modern day Michael Jackson with certain high notes, certain things. I don't know. It was a lot different, and I think different is better now, because if he was to hone in on the sound that I've heard like in Saunderson, or if I was to hear something along the worlds of Wasteland, I think it would be different. He wanted to paint different worlds, and I think for this one he's trying to reminisce on the early 2000s. And not only that, I listened to it with speakers, with headphones, and just off of my phone, and all three experiences were very well done. I've listened to it at work, I've listened to it at home, I've listened to it cleaning, I listened to it doing different things. There are certain songs that, I'm not gonna lie, maybe not stick for the specific task that I'm doing, but that doesn't symbolize that it's not a good album. It just may not be for that specific thing. There's certain artists that happens to me, so I'm very, very thankful that he did it. I would honestly give this a solid 8. I'm very, very excited for the next body of work. I know that this one was delayed from last September. I believe it was supposed to release like September 19th or something along those lines, but albeit due to clearance issues, live instrumentation editions, mastering, mixing, and I ended up finding out that through the vinyl that it was mastered by Mike Dean. Mike Dean is responsible for a lot of the greatest hits that we've heard. He's mastered, I believe, every single Travis Scott album, which makes it very well done when it comes to like spaciousness. I think Mike Dean is a maestro when it comes to doing certain things that make the body of work that he's working on not only feel like spacious, but it also feels kind of futuristic. I don't know how to describe it. Mike Dean has a specific like thing, and if you look at his videos, it's so funny. He's always smoking weed, like taking rips out of the bong, lighting joints up, and he's like mixing, hitting the keyboards, hitting drums, doing whatever. But he's like with artists that are around our age, if not a little bit older. So Mike Dean's like already pivotal for whatever he's done, and now he's helping the generation that we're in, if not a little bit older. So I think it's great. I'm very, very thankful for everything that he's done. And I also ended up finding out that Benny Blanco was on this, so shout out to him. That's Selena Gomez's husband, boyfriend, whatever they were back in the day. But Benny Blanco's actually been credited for a lot of great hits that we know of, and I don't think he wrote on this, correct me if I'm wrong, but he did produce a lot of it, because Brent Faiyaz had no features. It was just mainly additions of stuff alongside his vocals, and I think his vocals being either pitched up or pitched down is something that he's been experimenting for a while. Not only him, but I think he's mastered it, and it's something that's been prominent in hip-hop for a long time, whether it be slowed and reverb or very high-pitched like chipmunk vocals. I think Brent Faiyaz, his addition of sprinkling him in, or kind of like talking to himself, like his own consciousness in a sense, it was great. I think him experiencing that within his own psyche is helping us experiment with like different types of music or things that we think. It's very, very well done. I don't want to ramble too much, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. What's your guys' favorite songs off of this? A couple of my friends have been on Instagram hyping this specific one up. Some of my friends like Vanilla Sky, Wrong Faces. I would say that those are some of my favorite. But yeah, like I mentioned, go listen to Wrong Faces. I think that's like the smash hit off of this one, alongside the 2 bonus tracks. They were very well done. I'm very thankful to have this specific album, and I don't know if I mentioned this already. If I did, I may be redundant, but we're gonna be getting the Fuck the World vinyl. It was limited to only 1,000, so I got the notification that a buyer that I know from eBay is getting it. So I'm not only gonna get the shirt that came in the bundle, but I'm also gonna get the vinyl. So that's coming into the mail within about a week and a half. So I got a whole story for that when it gets here. I'm planning on unboxing the vinyl in like a video, but I'm gonna be wearing the shirt, so just know that like if I'm wearing the shirt, it's gonna be the vinyl with that. So yeah, I don't want to bore you guys to death. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys really are excited for music just as much as I am. Let me know what you guys are listening to, what you guys aren't listening to. I really appreciate you guys for tuning back in, and I thank you guys for 300 subs. We're going to get more, and yeah, I really don't want to ramble too much. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Love you guys, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Deuces.